the long-awaited delivery has now arrived. Yeah, it's quite a big package. I just want to say thank you to Paul for selling me these parts and getting it to me. For those of you who don't know who Paul Wright is, well, this is the guy here. He is a 3000 GT/GTO enthusiast over in the UK. So just a quick note on the payment. Paul asked me to pay for this stuff using Western Union because PayPal would charge an 8% on top of what I'm transferring over to him for the parts. The downside is you won't have any protection, but as you can see, the package has arrived, so it's now just a matter of unpackaging it. It's really well packaged, by the way. Okay, yeah, that's quite long, so I got another like 20 to go, so I'm not gonna video that. Alrighty folks, here we go, unboxing. Oh yeah, that's right, customs had to inspect this, so they've already ripped apart the packaging and they did a pretty crappy job at putting it back together. That box was super well packaged. Everything was secured. Paul used some sort of expandable foam to secure everything in place so that it wouldn't move and damage each other. So really thankful for that, Paul. Thank you so much for going out of your way. So what's in the box? Well, first and foremost, a set of rear axles, and look at that, it is looking really good. I didn't know that the boot on the inner sides came in gray. Everything is good. So these parts, by the way, are off a 97, I believe, Mitsubishi GTO MR with 70,000 kilometers on the clock. Next is a set of rear diff mounts. The great thing about this is that it comes with these Ray Pampina aluminum solid mounts. It fits my purpose with the GTO MR here, making it more sporty or track spec oriented as opposed to the red one being more comfortable. So this is going to be awesome. The next part is a spare Mitsubishi GTO 6-speed JDM gearbox. Well, there's nothing wrong with the 6 speeds in the two cars over there. I just wanted to secure one for the future as spare. My plan is to drop a Quaith LSD and one of those SCE center differential with a 300M shaft in the next 3 or 5 years, or whenever I recover financially from all of this. Pretty much unscratched, rotates quite nice. I have no doubt that this will just slug and play, no rust. Output shaft here is nice. And last but not least, the main reason why I made the shipment in the first place is this thing here, Hybrid LSD B3H. I've been hyping this diff up for the past 11 years of owning GTOs, so I hope it lives up to the hype. This will be going into the MR. Plan is to do a couple of track days stock and then drop this in, see the differences, and then put the sway bars in from Daniel. Let's have a look inside this thing. Fantastic, look at that. There you have it, guys. I'm super excited. This is all for this bad boy here, the MR Vision. And yeah, hopefully I'll be getting this to a track day probably next year, or at least end of year at Mod. If you need any parts, talk to Paul, he's got a lot. Help him out, he just bought a Spider. Peace, thanks everyone. Oh, and by the way, I should probably mention this. Paul's also gone out of his way to open and inspect the gearbox to take photos to send me before I went ahead with it. He also went and replaced the seals inside the gearbox as well with OEM parts. Rubber seals, sorry. And as you can see in here, it's looking pretty good. And everything has been sealed up and all ready to go. Couldn't believe how heavy this thing is compared to like the non-turbo GTO gearbox.